Hey guys, what's going on? So sorry for the long overdue video. It's been months. I haven't posted on YouTube. I know I'm mostly on TikTok and Instagram and trying to grow this channel. It's a lot of work and it's not that easy. But I thank you guys for staying committed. I appreciate it for the martial arts and the martial mindset. We'll get this growing in some direction soon. But today's video, maybe you guys will like it, is a little behind the scenes look at the brand new Bruce Lee Museum exhibit in San Francisco Chinatown. Now, I was there a couple of months ago for a visit with my good friend Chun, who is one of the world's most foreknown, if not the well-known, Bruce Lee collector and historians. So he gave us a little bit of a tour. We talked a little bit. So this is the behind the scenes look. Shout out my DJI Osmo. Hopefully it's clear enough with sound and the visuals, but it's just really raw footage that I think you guys might enjoy. And if you have any questions, comment below. You know the drill. Let me know what you want to see, what questions you may have. If you haven't checked it out, please do check out the Bruce Lee Museum exhibit in San Francisco Chinatown. It's great. Want to pass on Bruce's legacy. See you guys in the next one. Alright guys, I'm back in San Francisco Chinatown. It's the first time in like almost a year. I'm gonna go and check out the new Bruce Lee exhibit with my friend Chun, and we're gonna take a look and see what it looks like, huh? Here it is. Good old Chinatown, guys. It's been a long time since I've been here. Super long time. We got Bruce right here. And we're walking up. Walking up on Clay Street, guys. That's Clay Street. It's where the exhibit is. Yeah. So on Clay Street, I'm walking up right now. Take a look. It's located at 965 Clay Street in San Francisco. I'm on 800, so I got another block to go. Couldn't find parking except the garage. So, the only space we have is the garage. But, we're walking up. Almost there. Take a look. Got a tattoo place down in Chinatown. Kind of rare, but we're almost there. Look, Hong Kong Style Cafe. When I see a Hong Kong Style Cafe, it makes me think of being back in Hong Kong again. So, kind of cool. That's a new one right there. Wasn't there before. We're almost there. It's a long walk. It's up the hill. Okay, up the hill. On the left side. Be lucky to find parking right here, but not yet. Cut through. Come on this side. Here, up the hill on Clay Street, guys. Kind of a steep hill. Gonna get my cardio up. Almost there. Here we are, right here. Here we are, guys. 965. That's it. Here we are, guys, at the museum. Let's take a look. It's pretty cool, guys. Cool little exhibit here. All the artwork. Yeah. What it looks like.
So we will.
So cool.
So we will start on this side. This is where Bruce Lee was born.
Yeah.
Yeah, he didn't even know that Bruce was born up there.
Hospital. Yeah.
Yeah, just a couple blocks down.
And it's still in existence today.
They actually, all right, so the hospital was built in 1924.
Okay.
And in order to serve the entire Chinatown,
Yeah.
which
Right.
is the most condensed population in San Francisco, they needed to tear it down.
Oh, okay.
Okay, so
Sure.
you go there, and they have a gigantic one now, but,
Yeah.
but the original one was a small one.
Gotcha.
Yeah. Smaller.
So first, this is Bruce Lee's birth certificate,
Mm-hmm.
and it says 18 Trenton Street.
Yeah.
Just behind the hospital is where Bruce Lee lived with his friend.
Yeah.
So I tried to Google 18 Trenton, and I cannot.
It's not there, right?
Yeah, yeah. They have a parking lot there.
It probably used to be there, maybe.
Yeah.
Not anymore.
So these are Bruce's parents, and
Yeah.
okay, so they're from Hong Kong. So you figure, how come Bruce Lee's born here? It's because the father was touring San Francisco doing Chinese opera in the Chinatown theaters, and the wife was very pregnant with Bruce. She should have stayed in Hong Kong, but she wanted to tag along. So in 1940, November 27th, she gave birth to Bruce. This is a special document because, all right, nowadays if you're born here, even if you just stay for like a minute, you're a citizen.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So back then, that was not the case. So Bruce's dad had to sign this document that said Bruce is going to come back when he turns 18 to reclaim his U.S. citizenship. So that's why in 1959, Bruce Lee came back here. And here's a personal story. Wait, were you also born at Chinese Hospital?
No, I was born on the Kaiser on Gary Street.
Okay.
So not that close, but close enough. Close enough.
So when I grew up, of course, you're probably not shocked that they had all negative stereotypes of Asians on TV and movies.
Sure. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's always like Charlie Chan or
Yeah, the cooks.
Of course. Yeah.
Or remember the show Bonanza?
Yeah.
With Hop
Mm.
sing?
Yes.
And then we didn't even talk like that, but that's
I
how
know.
they.
That's the image.
So because of that, I was very ashamed of my
Oh,
heritage. And
Yeah.
I never told any of my friends that I was born in Chinatown.
Mm.
And then it wasn't until after I saw my first Bruce Lee movie that my mom told me, "Hey Jeff, did you know Bruce is born in the same hospital as you?" I go,
Yeah.
"No."
Wow. Yeah.
So I said, "Wait till I go back to school and not just tell my friends, but brag to them that, hey, look, Jeff Chun was also born in the same hospital
Yes.
as Bruce Lee." So I guess that was, just a little sample of the pride that he gave to a lot of Asian
Well,
Americans.
to make you feel better, I
Absolutely.
worked 32 years with Alameda County, and my boss was Chinese. To this day, the best man I know, Clarence Lee.
Mm.
And he was born in Stockton. They have a Chinatown too.
Mm-hmm.
So just want to let you know. I hope that makes you feel better.
Yeah, of course.
There's
Things have changed a lot.
there's a
He was an educated civil engineer.
Yeah.
And I ended up working for him.
yeah,
And I still keep in touch with him. He's in his 80s now.
yeah, but I'm sure Victor will agree because he's in the entertainment business.
Yeah.
That is hard to get your foot in the door.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And it's already hard enough because there's so many people nowadays, but
Oh, yeah.
being a minority is
He
hard.
told me it was tough for him growing up in Stockton.
Mm-hmm.
And,
Yeah.
I don't know if his parents or if it was his grandparents.
Correct.
made it here from China.
Yeah, stuff.
We ended up.
Yeah.
So I hope you've seen all of his British movies.
I think so, but I couldn't. Well, definitely, I saw that. So I've probably seen that. Yeah.
These are all,
The earlier ones, they're all like I couldn't tell you the names of them.
yeah. Well, this is the first one that was released in the United States.
Okay, that's probably the ones I saw.
Yeah. Here's something funny about this poster.
Yeah.
As you can tell, it's a handmade poster.
That's right. Yeah. It's very different.
But it's vintage. It's from the original opening.
Oh, wow.
I'm not too sure what state it's from.
Yeah, that makes sense, right?
And I wouldn't recommend wearing this and
August.
jumping onto the streetcar because people are going to challenge you.
That's right. Yeah,
Right.
it's a whole other thing,
So I'm sure both of you have seen the Green Hornet.
Absolutely.
TV series. So can you explain to me what you think that is?
That's using Bruce's face as the
Yes, that's
what do you
a
call that? Plaster. Almost.
yeah,
To make the mask, I guess.
mold of his face.
Yeah, the mold. That's what it's
Yeah.
mold. Yeah.
So the reason why they did a mold of Bruce's face is because after the first episode, the mask kept flying
Falling
off.
off? Yeah.
Because it's like a pair of glasses.
Yeah.
So in order to make the mask stick, they
Put a
made
mold.
It, yeah, it's like a.
I've never seen the mold. This is so
Yeah.
interesting.
You can actually see the scar on his right cheek.
Yes.
Yeah. To this day, I'm not too sure how he got the scar. Yeah, maybe he got in a fight with his sister who had.
Oh,
Do you think that's before he started filming? Before he started filming Green Hornet, or was that after during filming?
It's probably shortly. Well, he did the first episode,
Yes.
and then after
Didn't do that? Okay, could have been there. Okay. Yeah, I've never seen a mold like that. Wow. That's so cool. Though.
So here's the part that's kind of funny. Is that Ben Williams, who played the Green Hornet,
That's right.
also got a mold of his face, but all he did there was stand there with his lame gas gun.
Yeah.
Right?
He had to jump, right?
Yeah. Why do you need
Yeah.
to get a mold? But they figure, all right, if you're
If he's doing it, I do it too.
your buddy got it.
Yeah. Are these the original Kempo gloves?
No, these are
Replicas?
replicas.
Yeah.
And then they kind of messed up here because it's like you have the Green Hornet, and then how come all of a sudden you
Got the
have
Game of Death.
Game of Death and,
Yeah.
and
the
and Dragon. And they said, well, because we had an open spot.
Yeah.
Oh my! You can't win them all. Right? You can't win them
so
all.
I said, all right. So what I'll explain is that you see the evolution from Kato to worldwide fame.
Yes. I never told you that I have. Well, not the exact. I have one of these gloves. I got for some guy who didn't want it. Like just to have it, just for the look. Just to have it. Just to have it.
Yeah. Actually, mine's had a label
Yes.
on here, but
Correct.
But I took
Took it
out.
off? Yeah, I should do that too.
Yeah, because Bruce didn't
Didn't have a label on it. Yeah. I should send you a photo once to take the label off.
Yeah. So of course, this is how we watch TV back in the old days.
Oh yeah. TV guide. That's the original TV
When I
guide.
give tour to younger people, they go, "What's a TV guide?"
I
go,
know.
"Well,
They have no idea what it is.
We didn't have a cell phone. We didn't have a laptop. Or
Nothing.
whatever. So in the beginning, of course, they're just going to put Green Hornet here, and then they figure shortly that hey, Kato,
he was actually the most.
Yeah.
That's why people watch it.
yeah.
Absolutely.
He also drove the car.
Mm-hmm.
Remember he pushed
Yeah.
all those buttons. And
That's
he
what
got,
I watched it for. I
rockets or
wanted to
whatever.
see the fight scenes.
So they shared the cover, and then here you see Kato on the front now,
Yes.
and at the very end we had an example of just Kato.
Kato, yeah. Are these the original or reprints?
No, these are the original.
Original.
Yeah.
Okay.
If you could take it out and smell it, you could.
You smell it, yeah.
Because old vintage stuff has a certain
I
smell.
don't have that particular one. I have some that are quite old. Some of those are worn out. I'll send you a photo and see if you have something like that.
Okay.
'Cause I could donate something to the museum.
Yeah.
I have some stuff that are, I don't know where they came from. My dad was never a big martial art fan, but for some reason I had those.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
I don't know where it came from. I have them,
Yeah.
I'll send you a photo. See if what do you think about it. If this looks good, we'll donate to the museum.
Okay.
Yeah, so people can see what it is.
Here's some history on.
I know this is the one. This is the one right here.
Because although Bruce is on the cover of thousands and thousands of martial arts magazines, this is the very first.
That's right.
So you see what they ask on the very bottom.
Because he was practice.
Yeah, even a kindergartner.
1960,
Of course.
Yeah.
Back in the days, you know.
All right, so here's something that's going to make you very upset. This is the payroll sheet of the Green Hornet,
Oh boy.
and look how little Bruce Lee made compared to the other stars.
People.
Of course, Green Hornet got the most, but you see the minor co-stars below him all made more money than Bruce. Stuntman number 1 and 2 actually made more money than Bruce.
Is that crazy or what?
But do you think Bruce Lee had any leverage back then in 1966 to ask for a raise? Look what happened on Hawaii Five-0, the remake. The 2 Asian stars asked for a raise.
Yeah, they got kicked off, right?
Yeah, they fired them.
Yeah. Imagine me asking for that.
Yeah.
I'm not even on the show.
Yeah. So let's jump from being the lowest paid cast member to this. Do you know what this is?
Well, I've never seen that poster.
Okay, this is a movie poster.
Right.
And after Bruce Lee died, some movie company in 1974 said, hey, we can still make money off Bruce Lee.
For sure.
We'll take old episodes of the Green Hornet.
Yeah.
We'll splice it together and create a movie that didn't make any sense.
Right.
So you see here now that who has the biggest name?
Yeah.
Bruce Lee.
Yeah.
And look how big Kato is.
Right.
Do you even see the Green Hornet here?
Not listed on there. It's just for him.
Yeah,
right?
he's that tiny little figure,
Yeah.
and he's not even green.
Yeah.
And they messed up on
The car
Green
looks
Hornet
wrong.
car because they have the Green Hornet driving. It's usually
Oh yeah.
Kato driving.
Wow.
So, how many of you know that Bruce Lee lived in Oakland for 2.5 years?
Yeah.
He lived on Monticello Avenue, and that's a picture of him in front of the house. While he was living there, he went to the 1964 Long Beach tournament and he performed on the stage. And one of the audience members was Jay Sebring, who was the hairdresser of the Hollywood stars. So he took the footage, and I guess he was cutting the hair of William Dozier, and had mentioned about Bruce Lee, and he said, "Hey, I think I can use him in a TV project that's coming up." So this was the tournament. But did you know that the night before the tournament, Bruce gathered all the Kung Fu masters or the martial arts masters and did a demonstration in the hotel lobby?
I've heard about that. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So what I heard is that what he did in the lobby is even more impressive than what he was doing.
That's the footage you want to see. But
Yeah.
there, I know.
Yeah.
We can see that one.
Yeah. I actually got the photo from my friend here, Barney, and he told me what he's doing here is that he's having
Overlap.
Yeah. So he had that tall karate guy there, and then Bruce said, I'm just gonna touch your forehead, and I want you to stop me. So Bruce did it three times, and then the karate guy's like, oh, too late.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I'm sure he did other stuff as well. But because of that, he got the screen test here.
That's right.
That's exclusive.
Yeah. So Bruce is only
Look at this guy. Wow.
years old. But you can tell by his voice, he's very, very mature. And then look how fast he is. I think the most amazing thing is that he didn't rip his pants.
Yeah.
Because the screen test, you're just supposed to sit there and.
Yeah.
Because when he was in the movies with Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, Kareem didn't believe he could kick that high.
Oh yeah. So it's like, whoa.
Yeah. Kareem's almost 7 feet.
So try performing martial arts with a suit and tie. It's very, very difficult. But Bruce does a very, very good job. Like right here. Here's where I thought he was gonna rip his pants.
It's so tight, those pants.
So can you tell me what Bruce is doing here?
Isn't that the one finger punch or something? What do they call that?
1 inch punch.
1 inch punch, yeah.
So let me demonstrate on you.
Okay.
So what Bruce does is he has his fist about 1 inch away from the opponent's chest, and then just go boom, boom, and then the guy will climb to see the chair.
Yeah.
Because in order to generate that amount of power, you need to cock your fist back. But then he's like boom. But here's where I burst your bubble. You want to hear something? Bruce Lee did not invent the 1 inch punch. It was invented by Wing Chun. Kung Fu.
Mm-hmm.
And when Bruce does it, he's actually cheating. Because
So the traditional way.
The 1 inch punch, I'm standing square with you. I don't move. You just boom. That's 1 inch, right? How Bruce does it is he has one foot back, and then he'll go like this. So he's actually like giving more leverage.
Gotcha.
So when people see the 1 inch punch demonstrated on YouTube, they say, I can do that. That's easy. But most people do a 1 inch push.
Yeah. They're not punching, actually.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Sorry to.
That's okay. Okay, I have to go, Jeff. Nice to meet you. Thank you very much.
Pleasure meeting you.
Nice
Take
to
care of
meet
yourself,
you.
right?
You
Be
too,
safe.
man.
Yeah, be safe.
And you guys keep up the good work. Thank
Yeah,
you.
for sure.
So you don't mind joining the tour?
Oh, I don't mind at all. I
Yeah,
love
hop
to
in.
listen
Yeah, hop
to
in.
everything that you say.
You've seen the remastered version of that, right? They have it like they put a little color in it. It's on YouTube.
Yeah, I don't like it when.
I know it looks different. Just a remastered version, but the original is always fine, you know. Yeah.
So throughout the tour, if you have any questions on this, please feel free to ask.
I still love this part though. That photo, that was so good. That photo.
This is.
I've never seen that photo. That's why. So yeah, that's really vintage right there.
And when Green Hornet got canceled after only one season, he bounced around trying to make it in Hollywood.
Right.
But promised his family that he would not accept any roles that would be Chinese people.
Correct.
He would rather so he had a lot of something that he really had.
There was the finger jab.
He struggled.
There was the punch. There was the breakfast and the floor. Of course, then they use legs.
When he carries himself,
Absolutely.
Yeah.
his fears when he lives.
Yeah. People only see the movies and they don't
real person.
appreciate how the real, because this is a screen test. No special effects or
Correct.
whatever. And then like you said, just the sound of his voice, he's very confident. Because he's only 24. When we were 24, we were still wearing our diapers.
I know. It's beyond diapers already.
Very mature.
Yeah.
Very mature.
Yeah. So, can you tell me what this is? What is this?
A dragon?
Yes, a dragon. Who do you think drew it?
Bruce drew that one.
Yes.
His
Because
art.
Bruce Lee was not just a martial artist, he was also a very, very good artist.
Mhm.
So you would assume that he did dragons, Chinese monks, Kung Fu warriors, but he also did something that's quite unique. When he was a waiter in Seattle,
Yes.
he lived upstairs in the restaurant. And the young son of the restaurant owner kept going into his room and touching his stuff. And then Bruce got upset. So Bruce drew a real scary picture of Frankenstein and then put it
Oh, I didn't know that. Wow.
And that kid never stepped.
That's it. Yeah. Wow.
So I assume if he drew Frankenstein, he probably drew the Wolfman and Dracula.
Yes.
Probably. Yeah.
And that little kid contacted me last year because he's
He's an adult now, right? He must be an adult by now.
he's a grown up.
Yeah.
I think he's like a councilman in Seattle.
Oh wow.
But he said that, Jeff, do you have any images of Frankenstein? Because that really meant a lot to me.
Wow.
Because you know, and I said I wish I did.
Yeah.
But I'll continue the search.
Sure.
Oh,
Sure.
wow.
Yeah.
But that would be very interesting to find that
Yeah.
artwork. Wow.
The only problem is that he probably didn't sign it. So if
We don't know who it is.
Are you sure?
Yeah.
Obviously,
It's an original.
There's a unique style of drawing that you kind of recognize. You know,
Yeah,
like I can
yeah.
see it right away that it's going to be his. So.
Just to let you know, about 90% of the personal stuff that you see on online
Yeah.
for sale, it's fake.
Fake stuff, right? It can't be all real. Like.
Don't waste your money.
Yeah.
If you find anything, contact me before
Sure.
you buy.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because the worst is when people buy stuff and they say, "Can you authenticate it?"
It's too late already.
Okay, fake.
Yeah.
I go, I hope you didn't buy it already. Oh.
Oh. Yeah. It's a lot of that. Oh.
So let's come on over here.
Yeah.
So this is Bruce Lee with his stuntman.
Okay.
So when you film a fighting movie, of course you have to have a good stuntman team. And you probably know the answer, but who was Bruce Lee's most famous stuntman? Of course, the director said, "Cut." Okay, bring in the stuntman. And then Jackie had a big thick padding in his shirt. So after Bruce kicked him, and then Jackie flew out, and then Jackie landed with a thud, and he thought that he got really hurt. And then Bruce got scared, so Bruce sprinted over to Jackie and said, "Are you okay, son?"
Right.
And then Jackie went like that.
I'm okay.
So because of the fact that he can take a hit, that Bruce said, I'm going to use you in the future.
Right.
So I'm sure you've seen Enter the Dragon.
Yes, many times.
Yes.
Did you know Bruce kills Jackie Chan in Enter the Dragon?
Duh.
Not one, not two, but 3 times.
Near the end. Yes.
Yeah. So it's all actually in the same scene
Mhm.
when he's fighting underground. Okay, so one scene is when Bruce hits a guy with a nunchuck,
Yes.
and the guy somersaults into the water.
Mhm.
That's Jackie. The other one is when Bruce has that long stick, and then he smacks someone across the face. That's Jackie.
Mm-hmm.
And then the most famous one is Jackie gives Bruce a bear hug, so he elbows him, twists his arm, grabs his hair, and goes.
Breaks his neck. Yeah.
So 3.
Oh
That's
my
right.
gosh.
And who knows? There might be a 4th. If
It's
you find out a
possible.
4th,
Yeah.
please
You
tell
have to start looking.
me.
Wow.
Freeze frame each one. You know.
Yeah. So, yeah.
Knowledge.
Now you,
Yeah.
now you have me
Yeah.
trying to wonder research.
Yeah. Well, with Blu-ray, with freeze frame, you can get very, very clear. So here's something very important. This is history. Have you ever read this? It's called My Death and Cheap Fame.
Yes.
It says, I, Bruce Lee, will be the highest paid Oriental superstar in the world, or in the United States. In return, I will give the most exciting performances and render the best of quality in the capacity of an actor. Starting 1970, I will achieve world fame. And from then onward till the end of 1980, I will have in my possession $10 million. I will live the way I please and achieve inner harmony and happiness. Bruce Lee, 1969.
His visual.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. So, okay, let me share something personal. Is that I'm very lucky, and I'm sure a lot of us Asians are very lucky growing up that we had a role model that looked like us.
Yeah.
Do you think Bruce Lee had a role model that looked like him?
At that
No.
time.
Yeah, he had to be self-motivated, self-driven, everything. And if the front door was slammed in his face, he would just go through the side door.
Mm-hmm.
he only showed this to his wife Linda and probably to his best friend. Otherwise, they would laugh at him. But if he had lived, he would probably made more than.
Oh,
10
yeah, for sure.
Yes.
By now. Absolutely.
Yeah. So if you have goals, write it down.
Yeah. Oh, I love that one. Absolutely.
Yeah.
These are all the originals, right, Jeff? All the originals, or
No,
the
this is a high quality.
high quality copy of it?
But when you have a museum,
Of course, you'll put the yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
otherwise I won't be able to sleep at night.
That's true, because yeah, Kelly the original one in here, right?
Yeah. So here's what I wanted to point out on Bruce's first movie. So can you see the eyes? Yeah, this one really
Same thing too.
did
Did it with
in
the
black
eyes?
and white. It really.
Oh no, that's
That's pretty cool.
yeah. Old classic newspapers.
So this is Bruce's first movie in the United States, and they purposely made his eyes real slanty. No. See here, someone just
okay.
use a marker,
Yeah.
and then they called him the Oriental sensation. I mean, the terms that they don't use
Right.
nowadays. And when they first reviewed the movie, instead of a spaghetti western, they called it a one-ton western. Oh well. This is an original photo of when Enter the Dragon was released in downtown San Francisco.
Mm.
It was at the Golden Gate Theater, which is still there.
Mm-hmm.
So this photo is from the San Francisco Examiner, and I bought it from the photographer.
Mm.
So it's vintage because back then my dad didn't have a camera to go watch a movie to take a photo. So I could lie to you and say, well, you see that kid there? Well, that's me. Right?
That is you?
No.
I was gonna say, oh, how neat.
But it basically shows how we all looked like back in 1973. We're all wearing bell bottoms,
Yes.
long hair, and like a derby jacket and whatever. So here's something that changed the course of history in terms of Bruce Lee's legacy. Do you know where the Sun Sing Theater is? I'm sure you do. It's on Grand Avenue.
Yeah.
And Jackson.
That's right.
So if you go there, they still have the front, the original awning, although the building is vacant. So in 1964, Bruce Lee performed on the stage of the Sun Sing Theater. And what he did changed the course of history. So of course he did his martial arts on stage, but when he went to the microphone, he caused a lot of trouble. He basically told the audience that Chinese Kung Fu looks good, but it probably doesn't work in a real fight.
Yeah.
If you want to learn how to fight, please come to my school in Oakland.
That's right.
So you can imagine, being that this is in Chinatown, that there were probably quite a few Kung Fu masters sitting there going, wait a minute, that guy's only like 23? And then he's like bad-mouthing Chinese Kung Fu, insulting us. Well, we're going to teach him a good lesson.
Yeah.
So they said, all right, we need to find one of our top fighters, and we're going to challenge him. And just, so he won't be
Talk so much.
loudmouth. So they hopped in a car and drove to a school on Broadway Street in Oakland. And the guy that fought him was called Wong Jackman. So before the fight, Wong Jackman's side said, okay, here are the rules. And Bruce said, wait a minute, you challenged me and you're in my school, so no rules.
Mm-hmm.
So to make a long story short, Bruce won the fight, but it took him 3 minutes. So that was very embarrassing for him because he told people, if you want to learn how to fight, come to my school. A real fight should last maybe 30 seconds.
Sure.
So because of that fight, because of the fact that he was very, very winded, he had to change his own fighting style, which he created, and it's called Jeet Kune Do. You know that? So not only was Bruce born in the Bay Area, Jeet Kune Do was also.
Wow.
And I'm sure you know the story of from Bruce's wife that Bruce fought Long Jack Man because they wanted him to stop teaching to non-Chinese. Well, that's false.
Okay, I heard that rumor.
Yeah.
It's something that's been used for a long time.
So you want to know why? Why Linda, to her dying day, will say Bruce was challenged because he was teaching to non-Chinese and Long Jack Man as a challenger. Okay, me and my wife, we're kind of putting our brain cells together and saying, okay, why would Bruce Lee logically say that? All right, so you're sitting at your school in Broadway with your wife, and then you say to your wife, okay, this guy's going to come challenge me. Do you think you're going to tell the wife it's because you made a jerk out of yourself? He probably made up a story.
Sure.
He said, well, yeah, I'm fighting for the Chinese.
Yes.
You know,
That's a good point.
So
Yeah, that makes sense.
yeah.
Wow.
Good information there. Yeah. Wow.
So when I gave a tour last week to some young people, they thought this was like an ironing board.
Oh, yeah.
This is a incline bench press.
Okay.
These are weights. So I challenge you to go back home and search the internet to find pictures of Bruce Lee when he grew up in Hong Kong and when he lived in Seattle without his shirt. Yeah.
See that he was pure muscle.
No. When he was raised in Hong Kong,
Okay.
and when he moved back here to live in Seattle, he was like
Still like a teenager.
yeah, he's real skinny, no muscle.
Not yet. Yeah.
So when he moved to Oakland in 1964, he was influenced by his new friends. One of his friends was named Alan Joe, and he was the very first Asian American bodybuilding champion.
Mm-hmm.
So Bruce looked at him and goes, "Wow, that's pretty impressive.
Right.
How do you get to look like that?" So Alan became Bruce's personal trainer. So these belong to Alan Joe. And I'm sure that you know that when you work out, you tend to sweat. So I'm sure this has a lot of Bruce's
Stuff on it.
DNA. So if they ever perfect the art of cloning, we need to bring it in.
Yeah, someone to get this here.
So in the beginning, you know, Bruce was like having his brand new toys that he was working out. But he overdid it because if you see early photos of Oakland, Bruce starts to look like a running man.
Yeah, his neck's getting wider.
Yeah. And then you like that, and then Alan goes, wait. You don't want to get too thick. Yeah. So Alan revamped his workouts, and then he became what you see Bruce. So here's something that Bruce Lee could do that I'm sure most of us can, is that he would take a 75-pound dumbbell, bring it up to his chest.
Oh, that's right. Pull it out, push it out.
Hold it like this.
Yeah.
Most people can take the 75-pound dumbbell and
Sure.
but to
Extension.
So Bruce concentrated mostly on his tendons and his ligaments, which are more functional in martial arts. And then one muscle that he was a fanatic at was his forearm.
Good. Massive forearm.
And of course, when we grew up, we all wanted to look like Bruce Lee. But
Everyone's pumping the weights, you know?
yeah. Yes.
Yeah.
Good luck.
Yeah.
So these are some of his workout charts. So you probably get tired just by reading them. It's like every day. Yeah. And you know what this is?
Do you like squeeze and pull?
All right, good. Because this is from the early 70s.
Yeah.
And it's called a bull worker. So what you do is you hold the handles and then you like squeeze it because there's a big spring inside the cylinder. Or you take the cables and
Stretch.
So why we have this on display is because when Bruce was doing his Hong Kong movies, his Kung Fu movies, do you think he had this much time to work out?
No, yeah.
Because he was writing, producing, choreographing. So he needed something to maintain what he already had. So if you see pictures of his desk at a Golden Harvest Studio,
Yeah.
he'll have a co-worker. Right?
Yeah.
So I could probably be an entrepreneur and say, okay, you want to look like Bruce? Give me $59.95, and then
That's
I'll,
right.
yeah.
Yeah.
And then I'll have him fine print. Results aren't.
Not guaranteed. Yeah. Results may vary by vary by user.
So this is when Bruce was choreographing the fight scene in Enter Dragon, and you would assume he's holding the script. But if you look carefully and read upside down, what do you think he's holding?
Maybe planner?
No.
A dance?
Yes. He's holding a book about dance.
Hmm.
And
For
then
movement.
I'm surprised that the director wasn't screaming at him and said, what are you wasting your time holding a dance book?
Right.
You need to be choreographing the scene. It's because Bruce was the only one to realize combining dance with martial arts moves create something that looks beautiful on the screen. That's why when you look at like Chuck Norris, he looks so stiff.
More stiff, yeah.
And just to let you know that although Bruce was short, he was only 5'7.5".
Yeah.
His arms were
super long. Right?
Super long.
Really long arms.
His fingers were super long. So when you combine all that,
It was beautiful.
Yeah.
The way he moved. Yes.
And of course, this is Bruce, who was the 1958 Hong Kong Cha-Cha.
That's right.
And as you can see, do you see any muscle tone? None.
No.
No.
Yeah.
Not yet, yeah. At that
So
time.
these are his cha-cha notes.
Oh my gosh.
So of course, here are
Yes.
the results of him working out. He was a big fan of Muhammad Ali, so he did a lot of jump rope and running.
That's incredible.
This is Victor. I'm sure you can.
Which one?
This or,
It's harder, but yeah. That's
See,
the dragonflies.
Very
Dragonflies.
few people can do this. And of course, it's very flexible.
Yeah.
And of course, he has like an 8-pack.
Mm-hmm.
And this is the latest of all that. That's when he fought Chuck Norris.
Okay.
Remember before the fight?
Mm-hmm.
And then Chuck Norris had a hairy chest.
Yes. And he.
Yeah. Pulled out
Yes.
the chest. So, you know what this is?
I remember watching him training on that,
Yes.
but I don't know what that's called.
Yeah, it's a traditional Wing Chun with dummy.
Okay.
And this is something that we train on when we have solo training.
Okay.
Because these are supposed to be someone's arms, and this is the leg.
Okay.
What's the difference between a traditional wooden dummy and Bruce's? Can you see the obvious difference?
Well, there's metal on that one. There's an extra.
Yes. It's
Yes.
basically the metal leg, because when Bruce kicked his dummy, the leg snapped in half. So
It's something more stable.
yeah. So if you don't practice Wing Chun, you probably don't know that a wooden dummy leg is expensive. So he didn't have that much money, so he said, okay, so we got this friend put a steel on. And then he would kick it so hard that at his home in Oakland, that the neighbors kept complaining.
Yeah, of course.
Oh my God.
Making all the noise.
What's going on? I'm sure you've seen the movie Yip Man.
Mm-hmm.
Which movie?
Yip Man or Yip.
That's it, man. It's this it, man.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Well, that's how Yip Man really looks in real life.
Huh.
Of course, he's much shorter and much smaller than Bruce, and look how skinny he is compared to Bruce. Just to let you know, if you don't know, Wing Chun was created by a female. So that's why Wing Chun proper Wing Chun does not rely on speed, strength, or size. Because if you go strength against strength, the bigger guy is always going to win. So if you ever take Wing Chun, don't go to the one where they say, okay, well, I'm improving on it because I'm using strength. My Wing Chun, that's, you're going to mess yourself up. But it's always good to learn a self-defense because of the stuff, crazy stuff going on out there. If you don't practice any form of self-defense, just don't do this when you're on the street. And here's something totally off the subject and not self-defense related, but I carry two wallets. You want to know why?
I want the dummy wallet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This is a fake one because if the guy wants your wallet, you're not going to say, "Oh, please, sir,
Yeah.
at least take out my driver's license."
Sure.
You might get shot. So you say here, and then put in at least maybe $20. Otherwise, you're going to get there.
Yeah.
Very smart.
Yeah.
That's how we do it.
So these are examples of Bruce's business cards. You can see the different styles, but they all have the common thing of the Jeet Kune Do symbol. That's the original one from Seattle. These are from Los Angeles, and this one is from Oakland. So here's a very unique one where it shows how much Bruce Lee charged per hour. So can you read how much he charged per hour?
Holy moly, yes, 275?
Yeah, not $2.75.
200, yeah.
Well, it was well worth it.
Well, this is 1968. Who's
Who
gonna
has that money, right? Has that money there.
So Bruce was struggling. If you wanted to make more business, how much business?
Absolutely.
Yeah. So the reason why he did this is because he wanted to get his foot in the door into Hollywood. So his Hollywood friends told him, "All right, you got to charge the Hollywood stars a lot of money, otherwise they're not gonna take you seriously." So he gave this to the Hollywood stars. The rest of the regular students probably got charged $50 a month, which is more.
Okay. The rate.
Yeah. So here's Bruce's first school in Seattle, and as you can see, Bruce didn't care what color you were, as long as you were eager to learn, he would teach you. One of Bruce's more prominent students in Seattle was his wife, Linda. I heard that she joined the school because she thought Bruce Lee was cute. So the story she told me is that Bruce flipped her over his shoulder and then bent down and said, "Would you like to go to the Space Needle?" And then she smiled and goes, "That'd be wonderful. Who else is going?" And he whispered, "Just us two." So that was their first date, and then eventually they got married.
Oh.
Yeah, that's not how you're supposed to ask a girl.
No. That is on our different floor, right?
So of course here, with any exhibit, we have to have our standard Bruce Lee wall of magazines. And as you can see, most of them are martial arts related.
Yes.
But this one kind of stands out because it's for muscle and fitness.
Right.
It took them a while to realize that, we should put Bruce on the cover. But I think he looks better than Arnold, of course. This is the leg.
Okay.
What's the difference between a traditional wooden dummy and Bruce's? Can you see the obvious difference?
Well, there's metal on that one. There's an extra.
Yes. It's basically the metal leg, because when Bruce kicked his dummy, the leg snapped in half. So
it's more stable.
Yeah. So if you don't practice Wing Chun, you probably don't know that a wooden dummy leg is expensive. So he didn't have that much money, so he said, "Okay." So we got his friend put a steel on, and then he would kick it so hard at his home in Oakland that the neighbors kept complaining.
Yeah,
it's like boom, boom,
Oh my God.
making all the noise.
What's going on? I'm sure you've seen the movie Hitman. Absolutely.
What's your name?
Yip Man or Yip.
That's it, man. It's this,
Oh,
it, man.
yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Mhm.
Well, that's how Yip Man really looks in real life.
Huh.
You know, of course, he's much shorter and much smaller than Bruce, and how skinny he is compared to Bruce. Um, just to let you know, if you don't know, Wing Chun was created by a female. So that's why Wing Chun proper Wing Chun does not rely on speed, strength, or size. Because if you go strength against strength, the bigger guy is always going to win. So if you ever take Wing Chun, don't go to the one where they say, okay, well, I'm improving on it because I'm using strength.
Mhm.
By Wing Chun, that's you're going to mess yourself up. But it's always good to learn a self-defense because of the stuff, crazy stuff going on out there.
Mhm.
If you don't practice any form of self-defense, just don't do this when you're on the street.
Yes.
And here's something totally off the subject and not self-defense related, but I carry two wallets. You want to know why?
I want the dummy wallet.
Yeah,
Yeah.
this is a fake one
Uh-huh.
because if the guy wants your wallet, you're not going to say, "Oh, please, sir,
Yeah.
at least take out my driver's license."
Sure.
Yeah.
You might get shot. So you say here, and then put in at least maybe $20.
Yes.
Otherwise, I'm getting there.
Yeah.
Very smart.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's how we do it.
So these are examples of Bruce's business cards. You can see the different styles, but they all have the common thing of the Jeet Kune Do symbol. That's the original one from Seattle. These are from Los Angeles, and this one is from Oakland. So here's a very unique one where it shows how much Bruce Lee charged per hour. So can you read how much he charged per hour?
Holy moly, yes, 275.
Yeah, not $2.75.
200, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, it was well worth it.
Well, this is 1968. Who's
Who
gonna?
has that money, right? Has that money there.
So Bruce was struggling. If he wanted to make more business, how much business?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So the reason why he did this is because he wanted to get his foot in the door into Hollywood. So his Hollywood friends told him, "All right, you got to charge the Hollywood stars a lot of money,
Right.
otherwise they're not going
Right.
to take you seriously." So he gave this to the Hollywood stars. The rest of the regular students probably got charged $50 a month, which is more.
Okay,
Mhm.
the rate.
Yeah. So here's Bruce's first school in Seattle, and as you can see, Bruce didn't care what color you were, as long as you were eager to learn, he would teach you. One of Bruce's more prominent students in Seattle was his wife, Linda.
Ah,
I heard that she joined the school because she thought Bruce Lee was cute. So the story she told me is that Bruce flipped her over his shoulder and then bent down and said, "Would you like to go to the Space Needle?" And then she smiled and goes, "That'd be wonderful. Who else is going?"
Mhm.
And he whispered, "Just us two."
okay.
So that was their first
That was
date,
it.
and then eventually they got married.
Oh,
Yeah, that's not how you're supposed to ask a girl.
I know. Gotta fix on our different
Yeah.
door, right?
So of course here, with any exhibit, we have to have our standard Bruce Lee wall of magazines. And as you can see, most of them are martial arts related,
Yes.
but this one kind of stands out. It's for muscle and fitness.
Right.
It took them a while to realize that, yeah, we should put Bruce on the cover. But I
Yes.
think he looks better than Arnold, of course.
You put water in.
Because there are parts of the nation where it was outlawed for interracial marriage. So this is a pretty controversial one. I want my son to be a mixed-up kid. Things that aren't very PC
Yeah.
nowadays. Since we're on the subject of race, this is Jesse Glover, African American, and he has the title of being Bruce's very, very first kung fu student. And this is in 1960.
Yeah.
So Jesse was a victim of police brutality, and Bruce at the time in Seattle was his high school classmate. So Jesse asked Bruce for help, and Bruce didn't look at the color of your skin. He just treated everyone as a human being. So he helped Jesse, and in return, Jesse taught Bruce how to be American, because Bruce had just moved here
That's right.
in 1959. So Jesse taught him like the slang, the mannerisms, like how to be hip. So to this day, people could swear when they look at Bruce that maybe he's half black because
The swagger and everything.
The swagger.
Yes.
So Jesse had wrote this book here on his years with Bruce, and of all the hundreds of Bruce books that I have in my collection, this is the most special.
Yeah.
Because it talks of Bruce as a real person, his flaws, and his struggles. And Jesse passed away about 10 years ago, but his family knew how close they were. So if you ever go to Seattle, Jesse's grave is just a few feet down.
Oh, I didn't know that. Yeah.
Oh, you didn't know that?
Not just. I didn't know that it was that close to.
Yeah.
I thought it was like further, like further.
Yeah, maybe. Well, it felt like maybe 20 feet.
No, not too bad. Okay.
Yeah.
I have to go. I haven't gone back in a while, so I have to go.
So you pay your respects to.
Yeah. You see Jesse there. Good to know.
So this is Bruce Lee's library, and he had about 2,000 books. Nowadays, if you show books to a younger person, they'll what's that?
Yeah. What's the book? Yeah.
But that's how we did it back then. Bruce was self-taught. He had books on martial arts, philosophy, dancing, acting. Okay, here's a funny story. On every single one of Bruce's books, if you open it up, they'll all have signed property of Bruce Lee. And the reason why he did that is because one day he loaned a book to someone, and when he asked for it back, the guy said, "That's not your book." That's not. All right. So from then on, he signed his book. So if you ever go to a used bookstore, you open it up, hey, property of Bruce Lee. The book's only $5. All right, this is probably worth like $10,000. When I was growing up, I always got in a fight with my brother. We all collected comic books. So my mom said, "All right, to solve the problem, Jeff, you need to write your name."
Yeah.
So I
That's right.
wrote on like 250 of my comic books, Jeff Chun.
So these are yours.
Now they're all worthless.
You put them in the collection too, you know?
Yeah. So that's Bruce's daughter, and then she wrote this book recently, and it basically shares Bruce Lee's philosophy. And the book is actually not for like die-hard Bruce Lee fans, but for everyday people.
Yeah.
They can apply his philosophy in everyday life, and I heard that's very, very popular. And lastly, these are books from my father-in-law. And how they ended up here is after my father-in-law died, I found like two crates of these books. And then when you're on this mode where you want to just trash everything. Right?
Yeah.
So I found these, like, these aren't even comic books, So I was gonna dump them, and then I found out from Bruce's wife that Bruce Lee loved to read these when he grew up in Hong Kong.
Yeah.
In fact, that a lot of the Kung Fu warriors that he drew are based on covers. So yeah, I'm proud to say my father-in-law is represented here.
Yeah.
Yes, absolutely. That's
The
great.
classic stuff right here.
This is an incredible collection.
Yeah,
I'm
well,
so happy to be here.
Well, well, I'm you know, thank you for coming, and then for the final part, the sign here.
I remember that.
Okay,
From the movie.
yeah. So Bruce tried to go into the park, and then they had the sign. And you remember what Bruce did to the sign?
Yes. You kicked it.
Yeah, we'll see it on. So hats off to the amazing opportunity. First of all, something funny is that a couple of weeks ago, people were writing down the Boston Celtics.
Oh, really? Oh, wow.
That makes sense.
Okay.
Yeah, but then unfortunately they ran out.
They ran out. Yeah.
But I tell people don't write your spouse up by doing
Yeah. Knock yourself out. You know?
So I don't know why they take this blurry footage. But this is the interview he did in
Yeah.
you would say that the Green Hornet, which that's much more clear.
Sure.
But basically in this short interview, the guy asked Bruce Lee, do you consider yourself more Chinese or more American? So he said, I consider myself a human being. So you can't really hear some Chinese, but he said under the guise of family, it just happened to be that people look different. Right.
Yeah.
Because I mean, I don't want to sound like, as Confucius said, but under the sky, under the heaven, there is but one family. It just so happened that people are different.
Yeah. There we go. There's the scene.
Yeah, it's kind of funny because it's set in 1908, but the Caucasian people are born in 1976.
Yeah. Improvise, you know.
Yeah, but he had a dog, but I guess it's walked in by a Caucasian.
Yes.
So of course you have the Japanese villain, and then the one in brown is going to tell Bruce, you know, I'll take you in, but you gotta go on all.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah. He's basically signing his death certificate. Right? Yeah, he shouldn't be pointing at his chest. Bye-bye sign.
That's right.
And there you go to protect them. Oh, yeah.
Let me ask you whether the change that
Any questions on Bruce?
Oh my gosh. You gave so much
has
information.
helped your chances to start.
Well, I'm glad that you learned.
Yes, so much. I've always loved him. Totally. Yes.
I think he's underappreciated because you don't read about him. But unless you can think about more famous one of the additional his vision was passed away on her death. His reason was to bring in and now people someone. My Hard Bruce fans will come here and say, we all have this poster, you know. Why is Jeff even display this here? This is a real museum. So it's you know, my poster is dated and it's the story behind the poster.
Okay.
So I was born and raised in San Francisco, and to be honest, I never faced any form of racism because I can honestly say that the schools in San Francisco were like 50% Asian.
Mm-hmm.
So in 1974, my dad said that we had to move. I said, why do we have to move? Because I loved it in San Francisco. And he said, well, we needed to move into a bigger house. So we moved in the summer of '74, and then it wasn't until the first day of the 8th grade that I found out I was the only Chinese in my grade. So on a daily basis, I would get picked on and then made, you know, all the racial slurs. And then you think they had anti-bullying? No. You think they had counseling? No. So my only solution was to hide in the library because bullies tend not to bother in the library. So my mom started to notice that whenever I ate, I would have severe stomach pain. So she took me to the doctor. And then the doctor was shocked. He said, wow, I've never seen a 13-year-old with an ulcer. Because the acid in my stomach was burning the lining of my esophagus. So I had to go on a very strict diet. Everything I ate was very plain, no flavor, whatever. And before each meal, I had to coat my stomach with this white chalky substance. So I was really suffering. So one day I was in my bedroom, and this was the only poster I had. And then I looked at the poster with tears coming down my face. And then it was like Bruce was talking to me, saying, it's okay, Jeff, because I'm Chinese and I want you to be proud of your heritage. So I told Bruce that if you get me through this dark period of my life in one piece, I'm going to pay you back one day. So that's why
That's a great story.
Yeah, 50 years of doing anything, you'll get burned out.
Yes.
You're tired. And then you know, I'll have to admit that I get tired of giving tours all the time. But I have to remind myself that I have to honor my promise to Bruce that he helped me, so I'm going to help him.
Well, and this is a message that I take with me, that you know, share with others, so it doesn't stay here.
Yeah.
Right? So.
Because I like to give tours, but of course, you know, I have to get a feeling of who people are, so I always ask if you want to hear more.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Yes. Thank you for sharing your story. I appreciate that.
Do you mind if we take a photo?
Oh, well,
Yeah.